Yeah, it's becoming very clear at this point that the goal for Donald Trump is to activate martial law in order to suspend the midterm elections next year.
Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us. You guys are the real MVPs. So lovelies.
I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share, where pan-colored people actually have a lot to say, in the sense that Orange Man want to activate martial law in Washington, D.C. This actually got a lot of people reacting, and as we all know how we do it here, I was able to put up some stitches from pan-colored people reacting to it. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes.
Trump doing a takeover of Washington, D.C. by the military. It's complicated. So, folks, what's going on? A lot of this is BS, frankly, but it's also a little scary, too. Trump has announced that he's nationalizing or federalizing the D.C. police force. I live in D.C., by the way. Very dangerous. Yeah, see? Dangerous dog. And he's putting FBI agents on the streets because there's so much crime. There isn't. Now, I will say this. D.C. has more crime than most U.S. cities. It always has. I've lived here for 40 years. It's a dangerous city. But the crime has gone down, and it's not like Trump said. A couple of years ago it was worse. It's not like Trump says. He's lying about crime being so bad in D.C. in terms of being an emergency. There's no emergency. It's much better than it was a couple of years ago. What's going on and is weird is, like, putting FBI agents on the street. I talked to my friends about it. They were like, okay, National Guard, he wants to put more cops basically on the street. Okay, works for me. But this federalizing the D.C. police force, what the hell does that even mean? Like, now the local cops are going to be run by the Department of Justice or crazy Janine Pirro or Kash Patel or whatever. The whole thing's very strange. And yeah, it's a bit of a power grab. It's a slowly creeping power grab. That's the concerning thing, right? I don't think it's a coup. I don't think it's a military takeover. But it's step one of 50 steps on that path. He's a mess.
Yeah, it's becoming very clear at this point that the goal for Donald Trump is to activate martial law in order to suspend the midterm elections next year. I'm not fear-mongering. This is what's happening. Donald Trump today federalized Washington, D.C. He took over D.C. He has the city's police under his control. He's sending National Guard troops into the city, and he's activated curfew, all because he wants to. And you think it stops with D.C. today? He's going to test the waters today. He's going to show how far he can go. But in his speech today, he said, this is not stopping with D.C. We're going to do this in L.A., New York, San Francisco. He specifically singled out other cities like Baltimore and Oakland. He said these cities are so far gone that he doesn't even mention them, but that they should expect to be taken over by the Trump regime in the coming weeks and months. I'm going to be live on YouTube covering all of this because the mainstream media either doesn't know, doesn't care, or doesn't want you to know what's happening in the United States right now. Yeah, it's because
Donald Trump has now announced that he will now go after every major city and put martial law. And that's only if these cities do not fix their homeless problem and their crime rate. That's right. He just came on just moments ago stating in a speech that what you see that's happening in DC is really good, and that he's saying that he will take over every major city and cause martial law if their governors and their senators do not fix their own problems. And it's looking like Trump is getting more power now than he did before, and it is just growing. Is it right to say that what he's doing is right, or is it wrong? And what do you guys think about Trump's actions recently? This just in, Donald Trump has now...
Hey y'all, it's your woke mom boss. So, I'm sure you've heard, Trump is using DC as a test run for martial law. And your city could be next. So, last night on his Untruth Social, he posted that he's getting rid of the unhoused. He's calling them homeless. He's calling the unhoused Americans, veterans, scum and filth And now he's rolling in the National Guard and taking over the DC police. We need to call this what it is. Martial law. Full-on Nazi speak. And here's the truth. There's absolutely no emergency in DC. Crime just hit a 30-year low. Violent crime dropped 35% last year. Homicides are down 32%. Robberies are down 39%. It's on their very own website. I was there in April. Not once did I feel unsafe. I let my 19-year-old wander the street by themselves. So, let's be clear, this isn't about public safety, it's about dictatorship. It's about authoritarianism and control. It's about targeting the vulnerable to score political points. And it's a test. He's already said he's not stopping. LA, Philadelphia, Baltimore are next. He's using this to see how far he can go. And he wants to get rid of the unhoused in DC. Where's he going to put them? Where's he going to send them? History has given us some chilling answers, and none of it is okay. Like, share, comment, do all the things to boost this post because we need to push back. This is not okay. This is not normal. Fascism does not belong in the United States. Hate does not belong in the United States.
Well, folks, it finally happened. Donald Trump woke up this morning, looked out of the White House window, and decided the Epstein files aren't going away. So he declared a public safety emergency and sent 800 National Guard troops marching in to patrol the city. Oh, and he tossed in 500 FBI, DHS, and ICE agents for good measure. It's a baby man lollapalooza. All because a little weasel named Big Balls got beat up by a bunch of kids, which may or may not be true. I mean, we all know how skilled this administration is at using fake blood for a patriotic response. In case you forgot, Big Balls is one of the Doge dinkuses who raided our data. Well, now he's the inspiration for a martial law trial run. Trump can do this because DC isn't a state. There's no governor to tell him no. Under the DC Home Rule Act, he gets 30 days of control if he declares an emergency. Because when you're a star, they let you do it. By they, I mean the entire GOP, who has decided that exploding America's democracy is worth it for some adulation by single brain-celled cult members and a chance to keep your kneecaps intact. Thanks to Republicans, the molestation of America is well underway. History is full of leaders who start this way. They create or exaggerate a crisis, take control away from local authorities, put troops in the streets so the public gets used to the sight, expand the model to other cities, then change the laws so the powers never go away. In the Philippines in 1972, Marcos claimed insurgents were everywhere. In Thailand in 2014, the military said the government couldn't handle unrest. Even in the U.S. after disasters like Hurricane Katrina, federal control replaced local control temporarily, but stayed much longer. This is how martial law happens. You don't have to say the words, it just becomes the new normal. The reality is crime in D.C. is way down. Violent crime has dropped 26% this year. Homicides are down 12%, and 2024 was the lowest violent crime year in over 3 decades. Oddly enough, crime has dropped so dramatically while the most violent thugs in the country have been handed free rein to manhandle and abuse the population under the guise of being ICE agents. I guess giving the sociopaths a little cash keeps them from committing crimes. I mean, crimes other than kidnapping and domestic terrorism. But apparently, having the lowest crime rate in 30 years still means things are completely out of control if you need to deflect attention from your salacious history of using children for sexual gratification. Honestly, folks, it's time to hit the streets. It's time for a general strike. It's time to put the baby men in time out. If any of you have ideas about how to do that, or word of leaders organizing to that end, please share them in the comments. I'm sick of sitting around watching Orange Grandpa open his bowels on America, and the entire GOP slathering themselves in it like it's some kind of Korean skincare. Well, lawless, depraved, snazzy wannabe regime, have the day you deserve.
So this is my prediction of what's going to happen next. Once martial law is done, they're going to institute new rules of what will be acceptable people in the U.S. Because he already wants to get rid of homeless people already, and he wants to get rid of all the other immigrants, as we already know. And immigrants is anybody who's not white, because we already know this very well. and those who are not born in the USA, and those who are soon to be non-Christians. That'll be my next prediction. My next prediction is that they're going to start getting rid of non-Christians, because USA was founded under Christian beliefs. Of course, that's not true, and we all understand this, but when you're desperate to stay in power, we'll do something out of a playbook from the 1930s by another National Socialist Party at the time. This is all predictable. Trump is that stupid and that predictable. And the fact that nobody in the USA has been seen this happening or actually doing anything about it, and it's reprehensible that the government or the military is going along with it. Reprehensible. They have abandoned their constitutional oath. Yeah, they have. So, yeah. That's all I can say. Goodbye, USA. It was a good experiment, but the Joe Rogans, the meathead bros, all these comedians who thought free speech was done. It never was. They were just being pushed back by society, telling them it wasn't appropriate. But that's never good. They were never going to jail. They were never arrested or anything like that. But these meatheads, these morons, these people who gave the bros something to think about, nothing about, something to get behind, got the worst president ever, the most unintelligent president ever elected. And what do you get? The exact same thing everybody predicted would happen. Goodbye, USA.
Please do not freak out and think that President Trump just declared martial law in Washington, D.C. That is not what just happened. President Trump just declared a crime emergency in Washington, D.C., and he invoked Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act. There is a plethora of differences between martial law and this rule. The main one being that martial law can be indefinite. This invoking of this Section 40 rule has to end within 48 hours unless these things are met. Pause to read. I need everybody to remember that the words that he has used more than a handful of times and during the press conference is that this is going to happen very quickly. It has to happen very quickly. Now, the fearmongers and the Trump haters are all going to say, well, that he's federalizing the police. He's taking over the police. My perspective is this. He's empowering the police, because if you watch the press conference, you also watched as Janine Carrero and Pam Bondi got up there and said the words accountability more than a dozen times. Because if the police arrest somebody and activist judges let that person right out of jail, then the police are going to think, oh, well, I might as well not even arrest them then. And that's exactly what's been happening. So now Trump is invoking this rule in order to jumpstart his initiative to clean up all of the woke cities. He's just using Washington, D.C. as a model. Now, I'll have some more content coming concerning the invocation of Section 740, and I'll have some more commentary coming concerning the press conference and everything that was announced today. But in my humble opinion, I feel like this is a great start to cleaning up these woke cities where gangs have taken over, homelessness is beyond help, and people are tearing down statues, pooping in the roads, using drugs in public, kidnapping and raping women, and all the above. So I am happy that President Trump and his team are smart enough to invoke this rule. And I just hope that you all don't fall for the fear mongering that I'm sure is about to come from the left. Please do not freak out and think that President Trump just declared martial law in Washington, D.C. That is not what just happened. President Trump just declared a crime emergency in Washington, D.C., and he invoked...
Well, this is it. Today, August 11th, Donald Trump seized federal control over D.C.'s Metropolitan Police, as well as deployed 800 National Guardsmen to the city. If you're not paying attention, you should be. Donald Trump says he's doing this because DC's crime rate is at an all-time high. He said it was higher than Mexico City, even though real crime data shows that DC's crime rate is at a 30-year low. And Trump, during his press conference, said, quote, "We're not going to lose our cities over this. We're going to start with DC." I think we all know that this isn't as far as he's willing to go. And this isn't the only thing that he said that suggested that he's going to go further than just seizing federal control over DC. He said that there's going to be mass enforcement operations targeting gangs and criminals. He said that, quote, "We're going to get them the hell out of here." And then he further went on to say that a lot of these people are homegrown criminals. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, I know what he means by homegrown criminals, but I just think it's absurd to say in this press conference. However, he did assert that other cities might self-clean up, but if they fail to learn, he said, quote, "We'll do the same thing in Chicago." He also said that, quote, "We'll take a look at New York City." Again, we know exactly what he's trying to do here. He wants to do this in other blue cities. We should get ready. We should be prepared for this. This is a test run for martial law. I think that all of you should really focus the next couple weeks on forming community in your neighborhood. Go to farmers markets, meet people, talk to people, get engaged, go to protests. It's important, I think, right now, because as we go into a more authoritarian shift than we were already in within this past 6 months, I think it's very important to be able to know who you can rely on, who you can trust. And as history shows, having that plan B is always the best option for you and your family to keep yourself safe. So, yeah, my name's Sherrod Swaney. I'm the director of Centered America. It's a nonprofit organization fighting for democracy and fighting against authoritarianism. You can find us on Substack if you want more information. You can also look us up on centeredamerica.org and get more information.
Like, seriously, lovely, is actually the fact that everyone is acting so surprised. Oh my God, he's about to introduce or to activate martial law in Washington, D.C. Like, what do you expect from someone like that? It's the act of surprise that keeps on, like, oh my God, like, what are they even trying to say? Like, you know this person, you know this kind of person, you know what he's very capable of doing. And you're acting all surprised anytime he does what he is known for. Exactly what people that looks like me saw. They saw this impending thing. That was why 92% of them voted the way they did. 80% of them voted the way they did. You know why they voted the way they did? Because of things like this. Because they saw things like this. You know, sometimes I say that people that look like me actually have what they call the third eyes. That third eye is what you see, what you use to see the future. Like, you use the third eyes to see what is impending, what's pending to happen. The third eyes is just that spiritual eyes that has been given to you by the Almighty. That is why it's as if they say, "Oh, black people knows everything. They know this was going to happen." Like, everything that they have actually talked about is coming to fulfillment. When 92% of these people decided to vote the way they voted, people actually thought that, oh my God. No, they did that because of this, because of all of the things happening with immigration, with bills here and there, with tariffs here and there. Like, just imagine what have happened for the past 8 to 9 months. Just imagine what have happened. It is always from this bill to the other, from this martial law to the other, from this votation to the other, from this to that. Like, come off it, lovelies. Come off it. And now you want to call this a state of emergency, or you want to call for a national strike? It's a good thing. It's really a good thing that everybody is beginning to see. Everybody is beginning to see what people that looks like me have been trying to say for a very long time. It is a very good thing. So that next time, I you know what? I think that next time, these guys are still going to vote the way that they voted. I will still come out to rant about it. The residents here are talking about how the crime, the way at which it is being described, is not the way at which it is. But no, this man did not want to listen to you. He just want to do what he feels that is right. They want to introduce this martial law so that during the time for him to give up his seat, maybe election period, this martial law wouldn't give you, it's going to make him not to, you know, it's going to make him to remain the president for a long time. There is this thing I've been seeing all over the social platform during his campaign when he talked about the election, this past election is going to be the last election. People thought that this man is joking. The thing is that anytime this man says something, people laugh about it. Oh, he's known for all of his shenanigans. No, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. In short, it is very risky when he says something and you don't take him serious. He's very manipulative. Some narcissist people does things thinking that just make you feel that they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So I think taking him seriously should be something that need to be invested in. Anything he says, one thing led to the other, he might even want to do it. He said, oh, it's going to be the last election, blah, blah, blah. People think that, oh, this guy is just yapping. Just imagine if martial law has been introduced. Anyway, lovelies, like I said earlier on, when I heard about this Washington, this is martial law, I thought that I was just going to put up some stitches from pan-colored people because I actually want to know from them. And on my next video, probably tomorrow, I'm going to stitch videos from black people. Why not just leave your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, support my Belinda verse. There I talk everything that has to do with Afro, Black American, African American, and the unity of Black people entirely. Just do your girl a favor to visit my Afro Rants. That's a backup channel. I do a unifying content there for all melanated people. And I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. A huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.